All right, and here's the first one. The first podcast. This is Kyle Russell and Brian McNeil on the Adventuruss podcast. I guess we're just going to see how this thing goes. We're mostly talking about sports and entertainment and stuff like that, and anything else that really kind of catches our eye. We've been talking about doing this for a while, and here we are doing the damn thing.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for a while. Damn near every time we are in a party, it's usually the same stuff we talk about, or we're wanting to talk about on here anyway, so why not? Go for it.
I feel it. Something we were looking into recently was the MLB stuff with all the lots of moving parts usually most seasons, and some for better or worse, and some are kind of very hit or miss to say the least. So I guess let's check out some of these. We're going to jump all the way back to November with Drew Pomeranz to the Padres for 4 years, $34 million.
I like that deal. I don't know if I like the years. That worries me, but the Brewers found out he's pretty good in the bullpen. The Padres have a lot of young pitching depth as starters. Some of their guys are supposed to be up this year. So we'll see. I mean, he could add some depth to their bullpen. Give them an older guy. It could help.
Jurgensen Profar from the A's of the Padres. It looks like they're trying to add, they're trying to figure this thing out. They just signed Machado. I mean, and they didn't really do a whole lot with all that last year. So it looks like they're trying to surround him with something.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't do much with Machado last year. He had a down year, but I mean, you throw in Profar. Profar did hit some home runs. He found a little bit of his power stroke last year, but I mean, from all the stats I've looked up, he's pretty average as far as second baseman go. But another veteran guy. It's better than the revolving door they had last year at second.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like he hit 20 homers last year, so that'll be a nice shot in the arm for the middle of the lineup there, or even in the two
back
hole.
Of the lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, you throw him in with a Fernando Tatis Jr. who's getting better, Machado. Yeah, I don't know. I like their team. Like I said, they got some good young pieces coming up soon too. So we'll see.
This is one that kind of was a head scratcher for me. Moustakas to the Reds. I don't dislike it, but then they go and they sign Nick Castellanos.
Yeah.
A few weeks later. And they're signing Moustakas to a big 4-year, $64 million. When he's going, he's going. He can rake.
Yep.
But I don't get why you're dumping so much money into the infield when only so many guys can play.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing with it for me is Moustakas is, he's an average defender at third, and he's a sub-average defender at second. So that's where they're going to play him. I think they're wanting to play him at second. I don't know. That's a good ballpark for him, though. That's a small park. The ball flies there. They're going to be able to hit. They do have some really good pitching. If Sonny Gray has another year like he did last year, Trevor Bauer bounces back. They got the young guy. I can't think of it. I don't know how to say his last name. Yeah, they got some good pieces. They added the Japanese outfielder, play center field for him. I actually like them coming out of the Central just because the Cardinals are going to rely on too many young pieces in the outfield. They don't know if they can hit yet. And you're still stuck with Matt Carpenter's deal. Who knows what he's going to be. I like their pitching, but I don't know. The Reds starting pitching is pretty good. If they're going, that could be one of the top, 3 or 4 starting rotations in the National League. It's not bad. That's pretty good.
And then, Eugenio Suarez, I mean, he hit pretty well last year. It's another thing. I don't get why you're putting so much into that, but I don't know. Yeah, it looks like they got a decent team going over there for a change. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think you take into the fact with their division, and the Brewers lost some guys in their bullpen. They lost Moustakas. They lost Grandal. So they're gonna take I think they're gonna take a step back. They're a mid-market team. They can't afford to spend all the money.
The Brewers, that is.
Yelich, yeah, the Brewers. Yelich, we'll see. I mean, it's hard for him to. He doesn't normally put up a full season. He at some point is going to get hurt and miss games, but when he's going, he's arguably top 3 or 4 outfielder in the league. But they're pitching. Man, I don't know what the Brewers are going to do with starting pitching. Same thing with the Cubs. I like the Reds' moves compared to the rest of the division. The Cubs have added like 1 or 2 guys.
Now we're looking at your boys picking up Cole Hamels. The other day you were talking about how much you like this move, and I guess just talk about that again. Bring the veteran presence into the clubhouse.
Yeah, I really like the move. Max Fried reminds me a lot of a young Cole Hamels. He's got a good mid-90s fastball from the left side. He's got a good over-the-top curveball. And Cole Hamels has a really good changeup. Max Fried has talked about wanting to get with Cole Hamels and learn that changeup. That's a really big deal. If you're adding a third pitch to his repertoire and he continues to get better, that's huge. Cole Hamels is a guy that, he was kind of overlooked on those Philly teams just because they had Roy Halladay and Pedro at the back of end of his career, and then
those 3 guys coming out. Those 3 guys coming out at you at the start of a 5-game series.
Yeah,
I don't know in recent memory if you want any other 3 guys going.
Well, we didn't even say Cliff Lee.
Right, you go Lee, Oswald, Halladay, and then him.
That's
for a 5 or even 7-game series. That's scary.
Yeah, that's arguably the best rotation ever. I grew up with Maddox, Smoltz, and Glavine, and that one in Philly might be better.
Even at that, you look what the Tigers had for a few years, and that's still better than that. With Scherzer, Verlander,
Sanchez,
Porcello.
Yeah,
it's just those 4 were nasty.
Yeah, so adding someone who's been there and who's won a World Series, and he has talked about wanting to help the young pitchers, and Sean Newcomb and a Max Fried working with Cole Hamels is huge. Even adding a Felix Hernandez on a minor league deal, he might only be there through spring training, but that's 2 guys who you're going to learn a lot from.
Yeah, they've been around the block a few times. Kind of moving on a little bit, kind of in the same breath as the Padres, the Phillies went and got Bryce Harper for $1.5 tons of money. But still they couldn't make it kind of come together last year. This is them trying to add some arms. Zach Wheeler for $118 million. I like this move. I think Zach Wheeler hasn't really panned out to be the dude. Like, he's kind of been on a few different staffs, but I think that if he can make this work out there, it's a good signing. He throws hard, and he has the look of a top, ace kind of guy.
Yeah, he does, and he's got great stuff. Reports were that the White Sox offered him more money, but he wanted to stay closer to his girlfriend's family or fiance. I don't know what she is, but that makes sense. And you add him to Aaron Nola, it's pretty good. You get a Jake Arrieta back. Well, see, I do like the signing. They're not lying about spending a ton of money. They've done it, and they're going to continue to do it because they got to pay Real Muto as well.
Going back to the last bit, talking about those Philly staffs back in the day. They were littered with cash then, Those were high-paid guys for that time. And they're paid like, Zach Wheeler is now.
Yeah.
So, Avila to the Twins. I kind of like this move. He's a little older. He might not start, but, I think he's going to be like that guy that can really call a game for you. He always called the game well in Detroit. He managed some big arms there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the Twins kind of need that. They have so much pop. If they could just kind of get those arms in order, a little bit of discipline there, they're an easy. You'd see them winning close to another 100 games this year.
Yeah, I agree. I like that move a lot. I mean, you got Jose Barrios, who's a young guy. Add Alex Avila, and anytime you can add an older catcher who knows what he's doing, I think that helps young pitchers so much. Kind of a calming factor. They trust what he's calling.
Pineda, yeah, right there, same breath. Pineda, 2 years, $2 million to the Twins.
Yeah, I mean he's out for a while. I think he's out till May or June because of a suspension. But yeah, I mean when he comes back, he adds another arm to that starting rotation.
I'm kind of going over this sheet here. All I'm really seeing from the reigning champs is they retained what they could.
Yep.
And they tried to add a few little pieces to try and hopefully, which is unlikely, to make up for Rendon.
Yeah.
But I mean, you get to Strasburg here, and you got to pay the guy, right?
Yeah, I think. I
mean, just from a business standpoint, you know, I mean, he was their guy, top overall pick.
Yep.
Homegrown, and then he's your World Series MVP once you finally make it there for the first time in franchise history. So I think that he's the one you kind of got to stick with. As good as Rendon was, I feel like when Strasburg's healthy, he's as good as a lot of guys in the league.
Well, yeah, and I mean, we saw in the World Series what won it for him. You know, Houston has an amazing offense, and you know, the combination of Strasburg, Scherzer, and Corbin that's pretty damn good.
Even Anibal Sanchez had a few pretty good games for them, but it's kind of the National League just kind of figuring it out like a lot of those teams do toward the end.
And you know, I'll say too, I think what won it for Washington was Davey Martinez wanting and using Corbin out of the bullpen. I think when you look back at Game 7, the Astros had, I know Greinke was going well, but you have Garrett Cole warming up. Garrett Cole was your ace. He was your ace all year. Justin Verlander had a good year, but Garrett Cole should have won Cy Young, I feel. And he's warming up, and you don't bring him in. You know, it kind of hurts you. Would they have won with him pitching? Maybe. I don't know. But at that point, I trust Garrett Cole a little more than Zach Greinke. He pitched a great 6 innings, but I don't know. That homer he gave up really hurt.
That's kind of it, though. In hindsight, you know, I mean, even looking at Kershaw in the postseason, he has a lot of those moments where he's so good, and then he just isn't. Coming out of the bullpen, he gets cracked.
Yeah.
And it showed again. I mean, that's why the Nationals made it here.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Corbin, I thought, was an unsung hero. I mean, he was lights out in Game 7. He was amazing. That's why they paid him. Yeah.
And clutch hitting, you know, you looking over the list, you know, they bring back Howie Kendrick. He had big hits in the postseason.
Yep. Huge.
I think that they're kind of hanging their hat on the young guys. It was Sano, right?
Yeah, Juan Soto.
Yeah, I think they're kind of hanging their hat on him getting better. He's 22, I think. 21, 22.
21.
Yeah, and he's already hitting almost 40 and 100.
Yeah, and his own base is crazy. His eye is ridiculous.
For a young guy, a lot of people don't figure that out until they're mid-20s, and then they're already kind of bouncing around the league.
Yeah, he hasn't even hit his prime yet. He's figuring out his strike zone. That's a scary thought. But, you know, I like them adding Starlin Castro. I mean, I know he's not Rendon, but...
No, but he used to be really nice, man. He was really good with the Cubs, and then they were just littered with talent, and they couldn't play everyone, and he happened to be the oddball.
Yeah, that, and, you know, you make that trade to win that World Series.
For sure.
I mean, you have to. 108 years, got to end it.
Back to the Phillies a little bit. Then getting Didi, I think, is a nice little move.
Yeah, I like that one, too.
It's low risk, high reward. 1 year, $14 million. If it works out for them, great. If not, they just rinse their hands off and move on.
Yeah, I agree. It's a nice part for him.
And it's
friendly.
It's a confident deal for him too. With 1 year, he's trying to show. I don't know if he's going to hit any better than he did in New York. There's not too many parks that are as hitter friendly as New York. So.
No, Philly's up there though. It's a hitter friendly park. Add him to a lineup, a little more depth could help.
Tanner Roark to the Jays. they're trying to do something up there. They're trying to culminate arms. I don't know if it's going to work out for them, though. I mean, there's just not enough with that lineup.
No, they're young. I like what they're doing. I like that. They did go out and spend some money. They're showing that they will. But it's the guys they added helps them, but they're not quite ready to win just yet. So they're also not hurting themselves down the road. Helps them a little bit next year, gives them another arm. Though in Ryu, solid. I mean, they're not going to win the division, but they're going to be able to play 500. It's not bad for that young team. Those guys keep getting better.
Yeah, in a tough division, though. I mean, yeah, it could work out, but I could also see it snowballing into something nasty.
Yeah, it could.
Waka and Purcell to the Mets is also nice. That could turn around. That's a couple of one-year deals, and that when those guys are going, they were good.
Yeah, I mean, the Mets have. God, you throw Stroman in, and if Matz continues to get a little better, he's nice. You Syndergaard, if he can stay consistent, man, and you throw in one of those guys ends up being your fifth, that's solid. That's a really good rotation. That is one of the best in the National League as well. I mean, you know what you're getting with DeGrom. The guy's a freak. He's so good. So I like it too. We'll see how it turns out for him, though. They are the Mets. You never know. The Mets are going to do Met things.
Yeah, they're kind of like a National League Tampa Bay, where you don't really know what's coming, and then they're 90 wins.
Yeah, and they've had it the last 2 years. They've had a team, but they've had talent. They just kind of, I don't know, they turn it on too late. We'll see. I do like adding to the Mets. Betances is a good deal for them in the bullpen.
Yeah, it's weird to me that he couldn't make it anywhere else with what he has. Thinking he wants to go to a championship caliber team.
Yeah, when he's on, he's as good as anybody. That guy's filthy. And I mean, if you get Diaz back to 2018, Edwin Diaz, and you throw in Betances there, that's a killer combo. Seth Lugo's kind of found his spot in their bullpen too. You don't know what you're getting with Familia. You don't really trust him, but if he can have a bounce back year, that's a good bullpen. It's a really good bullpen.
Yeah, he's something different. He's a freak. Like, he has so much mound presence too. Like, I just don't understand why he. I mean, if you're the Yankees, he's been hurt, and there's no reason to keep all that in your bullpen.
Yeah.
But for no one else to want that is surprising to me, especially these playoff contenders. You look at like Philly throwing money around the way they are.
Yeah.
The Astros, not knowing what's going to happen with them, but having back end talent like that.
I mean, you look at the Yankees. They went out and made that huge splash, got their guy. Feels like the evil empire again. It felt like it did in the 2000s and 90s. Whenever they wanted something, they got it.
That's kind of how it should be, though. I feel like some sports are just better when the best teams are good.
Yeah.
More people are watching. Hate them or love them, and that's kind of what makes it great. You look at them, the Lakers, your Cowboys, yeah. Basketball, like the Duke and the NCs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Baseball specifically, though, like
it's
got to be the Yankees.
You either love them or you hate them. There's no in between.
I mean, the Sox have been so good the last couple of decades too, but it's not the same.
Yeah. No.
You see the Red Sox win a championship. It's not as deflating for me, a Tiger fan, to see the Sox win as it was early in the 2000s when they were still kind of getting championships together.
Like I said, I hate the Yankees, but I love them getting Cole. It just makes sense. It kind of makes the world feel right.
It does.
Like I said, it feels like the evil empire is back.
Even them getting Giancarlo, like, it wasn't the same. It's not.
No.
It's not like when they made the splash to go get CeCe.
Yeah.
And
or
AJ
A-Rod.
Burnett. Yeah, or A-Rod. Yeah, just or Johnny Damon.
Yeah.
It didn't feel as, I don't know. It
No.
just didn't feel the same. I mean, you knew Giancarlo was gonna go there. I felt like, so it wasn't as.
Yeah.
Another one that's a
Yeah, I
head
agree.
scratcher for me, living in Ohio the way I do, is Corey Kluber to the Rangers for a bag of peanuts and a fresh pair of socks.
Yeah. No, it's a real head scratcher for the Indians. They lead the league in like fourth and fifth outfielders that you don't know what you're going to do with, and that's what they got. DeShields, right? That's what he is. He's a fourth or fifth outfielder. Um, Clase, the reliever they got, I know he's got an explosive fastball, good sinker. I mean, he throws it hard, like triple digits hard. But Kluber, man, he was good. I
He's gonna go to
mean,
Houston to be their number one, right? I mean,
I don't know. He might be behind Mike Minor, but you throw a combo of Minor, Kluber, and Lance Lynn, it's not bad.
I
I
mean,
mean,
a
that's
healthy
we'll see what they do
Kluber,
in their new ballpark.
man. You get to the postseason, it's gonna be hard for you to not him game one.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And the other end of that deal, I really like that deal for Texas. I mean, like I said, they got a new ballpark opening up. They didn't. They were in on Rendon. They wanted him. They wanted Donaldson. They didn't get either, but they made a really good trade to get Kluber. Um, we'll see what that happens for them. I don't think they're in contention, but it's a good move.
Another head scratcher for me is Bumgarner to the D-backs. I don't know. I just, for him, why? And I just feel like he hasn't been him since they kind of made that run where they,
Where you got
ran him
used.
into the dirt. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's had some good years. Last year he was good. The only thing that worries me is his home ERA is a lot better than his road ERA, and that's because, the Giants Park is huge. It's a pitcher-friendly park. So we'll see how that works in Arizona. I like that Arizona has a young team and they're going for it. We'll see. Start or Marte, that's solid. Add another hitter to their lineup. They're not beating the Dodgers though.
No, for sure. I mean, and even at that, San Diego's throwing money at stuff and trying to figure it out. I don't know if they're better than San Diego.
No, not if San Diego's if they can stay in the race until their young pitchers get there. I think San Diego has a higher upside than Arizona. We'll see. Arizona's got some veteran guys. They got some good talent. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to work for them.
This one's a bit of a coin flip, and this guy got drafted by the Tigers, so I'm familiar with him. And one of the rumors that used to go around was he's the reason Prince Fielder, the whole falling out with that. Avisel Garcia to the Brewers. I've always thought he had talent, but he's never really brought it together.
Yeah, I haven't seen him play a lot. Did he get traded to the White Sox? Is that where he was?
He was in the White Sox, and then he went to the Rays last year, and he played pretty well.
Oh yeah,
He had 20.
did. He was.
He hit just over 20 homers. The Brewers picked him up on 2 years, 20 mil.
Yeah, that's not a bad deal for them. But
No, it's not a huge deal, and it's a nice little deal for him. But
yeah, they're losing Moustakas. You got to add a bat, but I don't know. I mean, the Brewers' problem wasn't hitting. Their problem is pitching.
Right.
What do you have outside of Woodruff and Josh Hader?
And this is a guy that strikes out a lot too. You throw him in behind Yelich maybe, and hope it works out. Just a little protection. But if he's not hitting the ball to the ballpark, who cares? They're just gonna walk him anyways. Yelich, that is.
Yeah, I mean that's true. If he ain't got no protection. Oh, the next one coming up was when I like Wade Miley to the Reds. Forgot to mention him.
Yeah.
Back in arm, like I said, their rotation's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun division to watch, and it kind of has been for a while. With the Cubs kind of coming back down to earth.
Yep.
And then you got St. Louis is always kind of putting it together and figuring it out.
Yep.
And the Brewers' recent success is kind of a we'll see. It's a very tight division.
I agree. I think that's going to be not the best division, but the division we watch the most, because I think right now you don't know who's coming out of it. I could see one of those 4 teams winning it, but I don't know who.
Yeah, but none of them really scare you unless the Reds kind of catch on fire, right?
Yeah, I think if the Reds starting rotation is pitching like it can, they're the only ones that scare you. Yeah, I like Flaherty, but no one else really for the Cardinals scares you. No one for the Cubs does. The Reds could either win it or be 10 games below 500.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of it with them. And that's kind of, they've always been, at least as of late, they've been underachieving. So we'll see if this is the year they kind of figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing as far as underachieving is the White Sox. They've dumped some money into their pitching this year.
Yeah.
Another one's Gio Gonzalez, who in his day was a good lefty, is maybe not like the ilk of Kershaw, but he was right up there with a lot of guys.
Yeah, he was good, and you add in another lefty with Keuchel. You throw in Grandal to the White Sox as well. I like the White Sox. Kept Jose Abreu. That division, again, I think the Twins are going to win it, but I could see the White Sox pushing. I mean, the Royals are bad. The Tigers are bad.
Right.
So, I mean, they got a shot.
Yeah.
They're throwing money around.
That's kind of it. I feel like it's the Twins division to lose.
Yeah.
The Indians are kind of in that wait and see. You could see them towards the deadline being big buyers or big sellers.
Yeah, I see them being big sellers. I mean, I think with Clevenger being hurt, they don't know how long he's supposed to be back. I think April or May, but do they have enough offense to float them till then? I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that the big one that a lot of folks have been talking about is Lindor getting shipped for a huge haul, and I wouldn't be surprised.
No. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Dodgers try to get in on him as well. I mean, they got pieces they can move still, and they got the money. Why not?
Right. Just another little piece to look a little more sexy to try and bring to get Betts to sign that extension.
Yeah, and I mean, there's nothing sexier than having 3 of the top 10 players in baseball.
Right.
Or 3 of the top offensive players in baseball in one lineup. That's sexy. That's a sexy 1, 2, 3 right there.
And also living in LA never hurts either.
No, it does not.
Leaving LA, look at Ryu. I don't really get that one for him either. He's kind of a veteran guy. He's still got some good stuff, but I don't get why he goes to Toronto there unless he's just trying to get money, which is fine. 4 years at $80 million is a nice check for him, but
yeah, he's an older guy. I mean, he put together a really good season last year until he got hurt. Kind of flamed out a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. I don't get it either. Thought a lot of other teams could have used him, some contention teams, but it's not a bad pickup for the Blue Jays, I guess. I don't know how many games they'll win, but they'll be fun to watch.
If they can get those young bats going, with Vlad Jr. and stuff like that, but
yeah,
I don't see him falling much higher than maybe
4th.
3rd.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Even with the Betts trade, I still like to pick the Red Sox over the Blue Jays. So
I mean, even at that, Tampa Bay's still gonna be there. You feel like?
Oh yeah, Tampa Bay is. If Tampa Bay's pitchers are going, that's a solid rotation too. Throwing the moves they've made.
Back to Dylan the Betanzas a bit. This thing we're looking at here says the first reliever in history to throw 100 or more strikeouts in 5 consecutive seasons, and this guy's only getting a 1-year, $10 million contract. Like, he's not old either. He's not. I feel like he's not over the hill. He had the ACL injury, but that wasn't surgery. He didn't need surgery for that. I guess for him, if he goes out and does what he's been doing for most of his career with the 1-year contract, maybe he goes and rakes it in next year.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it. That's probably what he's looking for. And again, if those guys are going, the Mets have the potential to be another scary team like the Reds. But what are you going to get? You're going to get a good Mets team, or the Mets just going to be the Mets? You never know.
Encarnacion to the White Sox.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
This dude, I feel like he's not gonna ever get old. He looks 10 years older every season, but
And
he's still hanging stats up there, man. He's still doing the thing.
Yeah, I mean, you know what you're getting with Encarnacion. If he hits it, he's probably hitting the ball a mile.
Right.
So, add some protection in the lineup. You gotta be scared. You gotta be afraid of that. I mean, he can crush it.
And that's kind of the way the league's going too. Just hope, and they got decent pitchers in there. Keep it close, and maybe one of those giants that they got, between him and Abreu will just figure it out.
Yeah, him, Abreu, and Grandal. Again, that's scary if it's going. Oh, I was gonna say, we're about to get to Castro, but one team that we haven't mentioned that I actually really like the moves they've made this all season, it's actually the Marlins. Like, I don't think the Marlins are going to be good, but you add in Jesus Aguilar, Jonathan Villar, Corey Dickerson, and Francisco Cervelli. Those are pieces where, no, they're not going to win the division. They're not going to be in contention to win the division. But older guys, teams are going to come calling come, trade deadline, and can help your team down the line and, actually put some people in the seats. It's the MLB talent. I mean,
for sure. For most franchises, I would agree with you, but for the Marlins, you never know what they're doing.
No,
they get these young guys, and then they just move them for nothing. It seems like
Miguel Cabrera.
Well, not even that far back. Stanton, Yelich, Osuna.
Yeah,
those are three guys that are major players on their. I mean, MVP caliber guys.
Yep.
And they still have nothing to show for it. You just don't get it. I never know what they're up to, and I just feel like they're just hoping to make money.
Yeah, I agree, and I think what's crazy to me is I remember when the Marlins were wanting it when they were trading Yelich, and they wanted Acuna from the Braves, and that was a hard no. You're not getting Acuna. So they settled for Lewis Brinson from Milwaukee, and I mean, I do think they got a pitcher from Milwaukee who's actually looked pretty good last year in the Stars I saw, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe with new ownership. Oh no, it's the same ownership who traded those guys. So you're right. I have no clue. Not with the Marlins.
Yeah, so Castro, Cabrera, kind of depth, trying to maybe piece together something to kind of resemble. Yeah, just kind of resemble what they're going to be missing from Rendon.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I like it. You're hoping you get a lot from Carter Kiwoom, but we'll see. Maybe Victor Robles takes the next step hitting-wise. I mean, the guy's an amazing defender. He's a joy to watch in the outfield. And, maybe Trey Turner keeps taking the steps, too. That guy can be one of the best shortstops in the league. He is super fast, and him on the bases in front of a Soto,
maybe that's enough. Maybe that's enough with their pitching.
I mean,
3-4 runs a game 3-4 runs a game could be just enough every few days to get you winning a series.
Yeah, I mean you're right.
I don't really know a whole lot about this fella you were talking about a bit earlier, going to the Reds. It says he's going to be 32. That's Shogo Akiyama.
Oh, yeah. I don't know anything about him either.
It looks like he's got good numbers as far as on-base percentage per plate appearance, but 32 is old for an outfielder.
Yeah, it is. Everything I've heard about him, he's a really good defender. They say he's going to play great defense in center field. But Yeah, I have no clue what you're getting.
I don't know. Japan to the league is, and you're 32. That ball's gonna be jumping on you quick.
Yeah.
You see a lot of these guys kind of come in and then they always end up in right field, and I feel Chin-Soo Choo wasn't so different, but he was younger.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
32 is a little old. Yep. Looking up, I real quick with the Dodgers again. Going with Jimmy Nelson, he had some good numbers in 18 for the Dodgers or for the Brewers. If he's back to that, that gives them. They add in Blake Trainer as well from the A's. Could be a good bullpen if those two guys are back to 18 versions, but you never know.
I mean, even at that, in the same breath, Alex Wood is just another arm.
Yep.
If he doesn't quite work out in the starting lineup or in the starting rotation, he's just another good middle relief kind of guy.
Yeah, I like Alex Wood. I was hoping he would end up back in Atlanta, fight for a fifth spot. Yeah, I mean, I agree. They needed it. They need an extra starting pitcher though, so he could be big for them.
One of the real big ones that hasn't been talked about a lot because it's not the blockbuster move, the Rendon or Mookie Betts
Cole
or Garrett Cole, is Josh Donaldson to the Twins is a big deal.
Huge.
This dude has, ever since he's been at the A's, man, this guy has just been consistent unless he's hurt, and he finds a way. I feel like he's maybe the missing piece that the Twins need.
He very well could be. I mean, I'm a diehard Braves fan, and I took it pretty hard when he wasn't back. So I like him there. He's got, the second best WAR in the majors behind only Mike Trout since like 2012, I think. That speaks for itself. I mean, he can do it all. He can hit. He can field. He's an amazing fielder. I don't think that gets talked about enough. That former catcher playing third base at a Gold Glove caliber is, he's going to help them out. I like that deal for them.
Not even that, though. I mean, just the veteran presence in the locker room. He's been around the block. He's been in the postseason. He seems like the dude that they need. Like, that's the one guy they're missing. When the game's on the line, they have a bunch of real big bats. But him stepping into the locker room, I feel like you don't want anyone but him in those situations.
I agree. I think he's also. I think he's going to bring a little bit of what he brought to Atlanta last year. Is you look at the Twins, and like you said, they have not a lot of nice pieces, but him stepping in there, man, he's got that swag and that confidence that he's going to put in your face. He knows it. He knows he's good, and he brought a toughness to Atlanta last year. Like, Atlanta last year was full of a bunch of nice guys, and you add him. Same thing can happen in Minnesota.
I mean, he should have that swag, though, man. This guy's been doing it for 10 years, and like I said, I feel like he doesn't get the recognition or the love he deserves. He's been well above average his whole career.
Yeah. I mean, he won an MVP. That's not easy to do.
And even at that, he still doesn't get the kind of clout guys do, it seems like, going around the league, looking at other guys that have hoisted the trophy.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a lifelong fan now.
On his way
after last year,
right? Well, in his absence, you guys picked up Osuna. How do you feel about that one?
I like it. I think it's another one of those. It's a show me deal. He's got a 1 year, $18 million deal. They're gonna put him in left, and he's a guy you have to respect hitting behind Freddie Freeman. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head the numbers, but I know in like 2017, the guy hit like 330 with 30 home runs and 118 RBIs. The guy can hit if he's healthy behind Freeman. With Acuna doing Acuna things, it works. You also got some young prospects that he's not blocking, so I like the deal. Wanted Donaldson, but 1 year, 18 for Ozuna is a good deal.
Moving on a little bit, I didn't realize how gaudy the deal was for Castellanos. I mean, good for him. 4 years, $64 million, but I guess he has moved to the outfield, He's not a good outfielder though.
No. He's a DH.
For sure. If they can make it work, I feel like he's another one of those guys for Detroit where he was kind of the next thing once all those big money guys kind of made their way out.
Mm-hmm.
And he never did it for us. But we've had other guys like that, and the Reds have benefited, with Eugenio Suarez and stuff like that, where they didn't work out for us, but as soon as they get on, put another uniform on, they just start smacking the thing all over the field.
Yeah, I mean, that also doesn't. I don't think it helps that it's, in Detroit where it's colder in April and September and October, and that field is monstrous. So going to a smaller park like he's at in Cincinnati, that'll help his offensive numbers, but I don't know what he's going to do in the outfield.
Well, if their pitching's as good as it's supposed to be, or the way it's like shaping out to be, he might not have to run a whole lot.
No, he might not. That would be good. Let's see. Looking through, here's one that just happened the other day, and that's the Giants getting Wilmer Flores, which, it's not bad, but then bringing back Hunter Pence. Like, I know he's a fan favorite, but, man, the Giants, how many players can you have in your starting lineup that are over 30 and past their prime? I mean, at some point, like, I don't mind bringing him back as a backup outfield option. He had a good year last year, but, again, that's a big park, and he was hitting in a hitter-friendly park in Texas, so I don't know what that's going to do. I don't get it besides just being fan service and selling tickets. That's all it is.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's kind of just an asses and seats move. He was there and he was a big deal last time they won the title.
Yeah.
And that's probably all this is, really. It's something like that, a few more jersey sales. Like, Pence is back, that'll fill up the stadium a little bit for the first few months, and then they'll kind of come back down to earth once they realize what's going on.
Once they realize how bad they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. So what did you think of the Dodgers-Red Sox move? I don't think we've really talked about it.
It makes some sense if Mookie went to them and told them that he wasn't going to resign.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I don't get it. It's like we were saying with Strasburg a little earlier. He's your dude. He's homegrown.
Mm-hmm.
And pay him. It's different because, well, if you compared something like that to, Justin Verlander, who was drafted by the Tigers, he hasn't really declined in quality, like you said. He should have got MVP last year, in your opinion, but it was a respect trade where it's the club knows where they're going, have a lot of love for the guy, so they're going to let him go finish his career where he can try and win that ring.
Yeah.
But for the Red Sox, I feel like it was just different. I don't know. It's the same, well, up until recently. It was the same GM that drafted Verlander and all those guys.
Yep, Dombrowski.
Yeah, so I don't... you never know. We're not in the locker room, so you don't know what the relationships are like, and every player is different. But...
yeah.
For for LA, you got to make the move, right?
Oh, yeah, for LA. I mean, they have no money. Like, from looking into it, the LA has no money, owed to players after 2022. Their payroll is actually pretty low. You have a lot of prospects in places where, you already have other prospects, so you make the move. Verdugo's a good piece. He was a good outfielder for them. Jeter Downs has got a great bat. The catcher they traded, probably going to be a backup catcher. He might be a starter, but yeah, if you're the Dodgers, you make that move. And then
you want to talk about how to run. You want to talk about how to run a franchise. The only thing they're missing, I feel like, is a couple rings over the last 10 or so years, and there's been no turnover. Faces have changed. They've spent money, but they haven't crippled their farm system. and they've just been around all the time, and they're so good every year. It's just different faces, different guys, but it's just they can't quite get over that hump, and it sucks because people won't look back. People that are just casual baseball fans won't look back and be like, man, the Dodgers in the late 2010s, the whole little decade, they were so good.
Yeah, it'd be like the Braves in the 90s. You know, the Braves won 14 straight division titles, one World Series. It could be the Dodgers. You look at it, they got so much young talent, and that's why I say too, if the Indians make Lindor available, I would not be surprised if the Dodgers are the team to land him. I mean, they got the assets to get him.
And that's kind of the best part about baseball too, in my mind, is that it's so many little things can go wrong, and you can get bounced from the playoffs. If you're looking on paper, they're not. The Nationals aren't better than them going into the playoffs last year.
Oh.
And they end up winning. And then the Nationals just keep going that way, and they're just rolling and rolling and rolling. And that's kind of the beauty of it. They just kept figuring it out.
Yeah, I mean, you just said the little things help. I mean, look at the Nationals just in general. They were, 4 outs away from losing to the Brewers, and the right fielder misses the ball.
Yeah.
And the Brewers lose. If the Brewers win,
a guy who never does that.
Yeah.
And he just starts kicking the ball around, and that's...
Yeah.
It's nuts. 100%. And that's kind of what it ends up being, is you don't know what's going to happen when you get to the postseason. But these guys are kind of just culminating as many assets as they can, so that that randomness kind of falls on their lap.
Yeah. I mean, just that trade for them makes a lot of sense, because they still have the trade depth to, if their lineup is going great, if Gavin Lux is who they think he's going to be, and Seager has a bounce back year, they still have other people where if they want to go out and go after Mike Clevenger, they could do that. I mean, go after Francisco Lindor even.
And that's it too. Is like you were saying, they add a piece like him, but they don't lose anything. They just got way better. Yeah. And they were already so good. They won 100 games last year?
103, I think.
Yeah, and you add another guy whose WAR is, top 5 in the league.
Yeah, arguably the second best outfielder in the majors.
Yeah.
And you add him in an outfield with the arguably third or fourth best outfielder in the majors. Pretty scary.
For sure. Let's kind of move on here to now that we're through this, let's talk about how we think it's going to all shape up. Talked a little bit about where we think they'll end up falling as far as some of the lowly teams, but
yeah.
Let's start in the AL. AL East, how do you think that one's going to shape up this year?
I think it's pretty easy. I think you got the Yankees winning it. I mean, their offense was great last year with a bunch of guys hurt. So, if Stanton and Aaron Judge come back healthy and Andujar is, hitting like he did in 18, they're winning that division, hands down. It's theirs to lose.
Yeah, and it's kind of like the, setting yourself up for the best chances to win. They just, on paper, they're so much better than everything they have there is there in the division. The Rays might do their thing again and be in that wild card, but
yeah, I see them in the wild card, but I don't know. They can't. I don't think they can hang with the Yankees.
And we talked about the Central a little bit too, and Twins, theirs to lose again, like we were just saying with the Yankees. What's left behind them just isn't there.
Nah, you're right. It's the Twins. It's we're gonna be waiting through the year to see what the Indians are doing, because if they're not gonna win the division, they're making trades. Lindor, Jose Ramirez, probably Mike Clevenger, maybe Shane Bieber, but yeah, it's the Twins.
And then over to the West, you don't know what's going to happen with Houston yet. Still, Oakland was flirting with 100 wins last year.
Yeah.
The Rangers have made some moves. The Dodgers added Rendon. They haven't done much with their pitching, but
no,
this is another one where it could be tight or it could just be the same old story.
Yeah, I'd see it being the same old story. I think the Astros were going to have questions about their starting pitching. They didn't have money to go out and spend, but that's why they added Greinke to add another starter behind Verlander. You do get Lance McCullers back, so that could be big for them. But we got to see how that team does. I mean, they're going to come into really toxic environments every time on the road. They're going to be getting booed. Their hitters are going to be facing, they're going to be brushed off the plate plenty of times from pitchers who feel slighted and angry for what they did. So, we'll see. But I like their lineup. That lineup is good. If those guys are, if they're as good as they can be, yeah, they still got that division. Maybe the A's are close, but yeah, Angels just don't have enough pitching to contend with them, I don't think.
No, me neither for the division, but like I said, you don't know what you're going to get with Tampa year to year. They still got a solid team on paper, but if LA can kind of hit their way out of their pitching question marks, I wouldn't be surprised if they had 3 teams in the playoffs come the end of the season.
I wouldn't either. I think I definitely think the Angels could contend for that wild card spot. I really for those wild card spots, I see it's a 3-team race between the Angels, the Athletics, and the Rays. So I wouldn't be surprised whichever 3 of those teams win it.
Let's hop over to your favorite little division, the NL East. What are you thinking over there?
Ooh, I really like the Braves moves in the bullpen. We didn't really talk about it, but Will Smith was a huge get. Their bullpen should be really good. The Nationals did add some bullpen depth too, so that's pretty scary. And then you got the Mets, who are the Mets. With the Phillies, I like them getting Wheeler, but I don't know. I think the Phillies have a big question mark still. They did add Joe Girardi. I think it's the Braves to lose. I think they got the younger team, but we'll see how the starting pitching goes.
I think the Phillies make the jump, personally. The pitching that was added to the other teams is nice. Girardi's a real rah-rah guy, and he's been winning for a lot of his career. And he's a better tactician than people give him credit for. Look at that Yankee team he drug into the playoffs the one year. I think it was 15 or 16 when it was supposed to be a rebuilding season. I think it was the Aaron Judge coming out party.
Yep.
Yeah, he doesn't get enough credit for things like that as far as his managing capabilities. And when he's got money and players around him, he's done it. He's won. He's won a lot. So. I kind of like the Phillies. I don't think Atlanta will be too far behind. I think that Rendon missing from Washington, they'll be in some games. I don't think they're going to be, 500 or sub 500, but this is another division where, you could see it end up being 3 teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree.
Over to the Central, St. Louis, I don't see a whole lot changing, unless the Reds make this, they've added the pieces to do it, but it's Cincinnati, so we'll see what they end up doing with all of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's the Cardinals to lose. There's so many question marks about the Brewers and the Cubs. We don't know what's going to happen. Chris Bryant could be traded any day. And the Reds, I'm intrigued by the Reds, but I can see it. I don't see any middle ground. It's either good or bad. So we'll see.
Yeah, they got the haircut, they got their suit, they're ready to show up to the dance. It's just if they get the time right or not.
Yeah. I agree.
Over to the West, I feel like this one's pretty cut and dry. It's the Dodgers, easy.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say, it wasn't the Dodgers. I thought you were gonna say it was the Giants.
No, definitely not. I have no troll for this one. It's got to be the Dodgers. You know, maybe San Diego gets up there and sneaks into a wild card, but you look at the other teams. You know, even like the East is such a deep division right now.
Mm-hmm. The Central's deep.
The Central's deep. I just don't see there being enough in the West for anything but the Dodgers to be set up to try and go to the World Series this year.
Yeah, I agree. The Rockies have literally added nothing. I don't think they still haven't made any signings, and could be trading Arenado. So, yeah, it is the Dodgers. They're gonna finish with the best record in the National League, and yeah, the West is theirs.
Well, that was some baseball.
That was a lot of baseball.
That was all the baseballs. Next is my neck of the woods. A little bit of soccer balls for you.
Footy, as they call it.
Footy is a totally different sport. It's for another episode, though.
Oh. Okay.
They do that one in Australia. Man City just got banned from Europe for 2 years. That's a huge deal. That's the equivalent of, we were just talking about the Dodgers' run of success for the last 10 years. Manchester City's been that good in England for that long. And they've been raking it in the last 3 or 4 years as far as wins. And them not being able to compete in Europe is a big, big deal. They haven't won that one yet. Their manager, Pep Guardiola, he's done it with Bayern, Barcelona, but he can't quite get over that hump with Man City. It's scary business, man. This is the equivalent, I would say, to kind of just for non-soccer fans that are listening. It'd be like if Alabama wasn't allowed to compete in the national title.
That's what I was wondering, if it was like how they do it in college.
Yeah, it's pretty similar. When I try to explain how Champions League and the individual country leagues work, it's similar to college sports in the States. As far as each conference being represented by a country. Big Ten's England, SEC's Germany, and then so on and so forth with the ACC, Pac-12, Big 12.
Yeah.
And then whoever finishes the best out of each NCAA conference, we'll say, however well you perform this year depends on if you play in Champions League next year. So when the Champions League wraps up this year, it'll be the results from the season before.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what happened? So why are they banned?
They basically, UEFA goes and they do audits, like Neymar and stuff like that. When teams just start shelling out money, and just getting whoever they want, and the team has to put forward, we generate this much money. When we come into your competition, we bring this much to the table, and this and that. Just so that it's not that whoever the owner is throwing money at whatever players he wants. So it's actually the club funds that are buying the players, not personal money.
Okay.
So what they did is they lied about it and said that they were making way more than they were. And this happened. This happened 2013-14, and they got hit for it for $50 million. They were fined that much 4 or 5 years ago.
That's a lot of money.
I'm not sure what they're up to now. When the report initially came out, they were fined $24 million, and then I've seen since 30 and 32. Obviously, they're going to appeal it, but I mean, it's pretty damning to their image. They've been winning so much lately that it's at least as bad as the Nationals doing what they did.
The Astros?
Those ones. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, winning the World Series is terrible.
Right, and that's kind of what a lot of people were saying. Well, right. Well, I mean, either way,
Yeah.
the Astros did just win the World Series a couple. What was it, 3 years ago?
Yeah, the year they cheated.
Yeah, and it's kind of what a lot of people are saying. I mean, I'm a diehard Liverpool fan. I've seen people come up and say, they should take points from and just give the trophy to Liverpool. And I don't know about that. You look at, I've seen similar things come out about the Nationals again. About the Astros and the Dodgers. The Dodgers are kind of up in arms about all of it happening. It's a little different because there wasn't on the field cheating going on. It was for Liverpool and Manchester City. It was who was the better team with the guys that were on the field over the course of the season.
Yeah.
And I feel like it would kind of still be more or less of a consolation prize if they vacated the title and gave it to Liverpool.
So basically they were manipulating the system so they could sign the players they wanted to sign.
Exactly, yeah. And
No,
you look at, I think they've spent in the top, it's got to be close to the top 5 over the last decade on players. We're talking about billions of dollars to bring players in, and that much money is absurd.
yeah.
I know Liverpool is in form and probably one of the, if not the best team in the world right now, but you look at how much money they've spent compared to the ilk of like Barcelona, Real Madrid, Manchester City, and United, and they are nowhere near as of late anyways. So I don't know, it's just a lot of question marks. The manager, I mean, he had to have known about it. A lot of people are saying that he might leave, but the investigations have been going on for 5-6 years. So if he's ignorant to all that going on, what's he doing? Are you not managing?
Yeah,
Are you not managing the team? Like,
yeah, it's a lot like the AJ Hinch situation. He knew everybody there knew what was going on.
Yeah,
we don't know how much they said they didn't want it to go on, but they knew.
And it's going on a little bit from it. So them not being able to compete in Europe is a big deal for other teams because they make so much money from going to these other countries and playing and marketing themselves and things like that. This year's a down year. I sent you a table of the league.
Mm-hmm.
So right now Manchester City's in second place. Liverpool's in first by a mile. That's not going to change.
No.
But you take Manchester City out of there, it goes down to 5th place. The whole league changes, and there's a couple of teams in there that casual fans or people that just pick up FIFA and play that they don't recognize.
Yeah.
You're looking at Leicester City and Sheffield United right now in Europe.
Yep.
For smaller teams like that is a ton of money.
Oh, I'm sure.
And these aren't teams that are going out and shelling out millions of dollars. Chelsea just signed a guy for $50 million. They signed an American guy last transfer window for $80 million. Chelsea's sitting at 4th right now, but these other teams, if they ever want to kind of crawl their way to the top and make a case, it's a down year for the household names, and these other guys are playing out of their mind. You're looking at Leicester, Sheffield, Wolves are right up there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the table, and there are huge names. I mean, you got even Tottenham at 6 is kind of a surprise, but it's more of who's behind them. You got Man U at 9, Arsenal at 11.
Yeah, they're down on the pecking order.
That would be a huge deal this year for the Premier League.
Sheffield United last year, they were in the lower league, so it'd be insane for them to make it out. And the way it works for soccer is, so you see these bottom 3 at the 18th, 19th, and 20th. These 3 guys
relegated.
Yep, these guys will get sent down, and 3 new teams will come up. And 1 year of work, you're playing in smaller parks for a lot less fans. And then Sheffield United comes up, puts on a show, and then the next season, they're playing in Real Madrid for the Champions League.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts, and it's great for them. And then even at that, they make it there. It's a home and home situation. So whoever they're gonna play, they're gonna play them at home too. So you look at Real Madrid coming to Leicester City or something like that.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's gonna cause a party.
That's huge.
Yeah, there's gonna be a ton of people for the whole weekend. It's just a lot of money for that.
Organization.
Yeah, for that organization and just for the community as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for teams that don't need it, like Manchester City. And the fact that they were fudging numbers like that is... It's kind of poetic that it would work out in a way where a relegation team from a year ago would be the one to take their place.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
So, moving on from that a little bit, I guess completely, the NBA and soccer is not even kind of the same.
No. You run, but that's about it.
Yeah, that's about it. Handballs are not okay. You want to talk about a couple of snubs from the All-Star game? That's this weekend. The roster came out. I mean, All-Stars are All-Stars. They're as good as the best in the league, and there's only a finite number that there can be. But I think a few guys got left out that really surprised me. I think Bradley Beal has played great this year. No John Wall. The team is so bad.
Yeah, he's on there, though, right? I thought he's in the All-Star game.
Nope, not this year. Bradley Beal got left off.
Mm.
Him and Devin Booker also.
Yeah. I was looking up, too, and Andre Drummond didn't make it. It kills it. It always question that because this dude's averaging, his points aren't there, but he's averaging 16 points a game and almost 18 rebounds. That's pretty impressive.
That's silly. This dude's getting probably a double-double every other night or every third night, or a 20-20 double-double every.
Yeah, he's close. And, I mean, you look at the teams he's played on this year. Detroit and Cleveland.
Yeah, it's not doing him any favors. I mean, maybe it is doing him some favors. You consider he's out here. These dudes are trash teams, and they're throwing up whatever, and he's just rebounding everything.
Yeah, if you're going to miss a lot of shots, you better have someone who can get the rebounds.
For sure.
Do that.
So, people that might get left out, looking at the list here, Bam has had a great year.
Mm-hmm.
But Devin Booker's been balling this year, man. Even Andre Drummond even. I mean, he's been playing well, but he's been playing better than Drummond.
Yeah.
Is a big man.
He has. I mean, Devin Booker's 10th in the NBA in scoring right now.
Yeah, for him to not be one of these guys.
It's crazy.
Sabonis, I like Sabonis quite a bit. But even at that, man, he's not. I feel he's not having the same season as these other three guys that we said.
No, I don't think so either. And I think even your boy for Chicago, Zach LaVine, he's number 11 in scoring this year. He's averaging 25 points a game.
Yeah, and he's not up there. Chris Middleton. How was Chris Middleton there?
Yeah, I don't get it. The game he had in Charlotte should have been enough to put him in anyway.
Right.
All those threes in the fourth.
Yeah, that game was insane. It was.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's too good to not be on this list. I feel like there's a few of those guys. The roster is just really thin, and it's hard to make.
Yeah.
So, looking at it, when you see... We were talking about Dwight Howard the other night and whether or not he was a Hall of Famer. He was an 8-time All-Star. I mean, popularity contest or not, for him to be one of the 22 guys for 8 years...
Yeah.
Whether or not he's up or down.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not a Hall of Fame-esque player, you're not going to be that popular anyways, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree.
So, go ahead.
I was looking at the roster. I was looking at the rosters today, too, and it seemed like to me, of course, you're missing, 3 superstars this year from the rosters, and Steph, Clay, and KD. So, I mean, that hurts your overall depth.
Or even John Wall.
At him, man. Oh, yeah, John Wall. You're missing him. I mean, looking at that, that's a lot of dudes where it just looks thin. Like you said, I'm looking at him like, oh, he's a nice player, but is he an all-star? I don't know.
I mean, Kyrie's not on this list either.
Yeah.
With that being said, let's say we end the season today, right?
Uh-huh.
How do you think it all shapes out? If you want to go through each little bracket, I think that'd be a fun little thing to do. Starting in the East would be Raptors Magic. I think
pretty
that's a wash.
Easy case for the Raptors. Yeah. Raptors are winning that.
No, Bucks Magic, I'm sorry.
Oh, the Bucks Magic? Yeah, either way, same thing. Bucks are winning that. I like some of the Magic's young talent, but they're not competing with the Bucks. No. And it's not close.
Raptors and Nets.
Yeah, I like the Raptors better. I don't know. The Nets are obviously missing KD, and DeAndre Jordan, I think, is hurt too. So missing them, and Kyrie's not played a full season. I'm going Toronto.
Boston and the Pacers. This is when it starts to get a little thick.
Yeah, that's good. I
that's
don't
a
know
good
how
series.
Good Boston actually. Yeah, I don't know how good Boston actually is. And Indiana just got Oladipo back.
I think it comes down to two guys, and I think it's going to be Oladipo and Tatum.
Yeah.
And whoever decides to be the dude is the guy. Because in the East, it only takes one guy.
Yeah.
It's not the same as the West. It's not nearly as deep. If you have one hero on your team, I think it's enough to kind of make it to the conference finals.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. If Tatum is scoring like he can, and you get whatever you can from Brown and Hayward, Boston's deep, but I could see them losing I could see them losing to the Pacers that first round. But I think I got Boston as of now.
Miami and Philly. This is a tough one.
Ooh. This is one I would love to see. Miami has our boy Jimmy Buckets. Yeah,
he's just a dog.
I'm a huge fan of Buckets. So,
and I think that's what it comes down to. His team is overachieving right now, and I don't see they're young and they're young and dumb. They don't know any better than to play the way they've been playing, and it's worked out so far.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Butler's that dude. We were just talking about Jason Tatum and Oladipo. Are they going to step up? Jimmy Butler will be that guy for that team. And I don't think he was allowed to be that guy in Philly.
No, I don't think so either. I think that's what's big, and he's honestly why I give it to Miami, because I don't feel like Philly has that guy. Like I don't think Embiid is that dude to step up and win the game. I don't think Ben Simmons is that guy.
It's hard to do that with a big guy. When the game slows down, final 2 minutes, just timeout after timeout. It's hard to do that with a big guy.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons could be that guy, but this dude doesn't shoot.
No, I mean, and you think about it, he doesn't, like, we're not telling the guy we don't need him to shoot that much. But if he were to go, you say...
Look at Giannis, man. Giannis doesn't shoot the lights out of the court, but he will pull up.
Yeah.
He's kind of got a respect me shot like LeBron did right before he went to Miami.
Yeah. I mean, if Ben Simmons goes if he goes 2 for 8 or 3 for 10 from the week, I mean, that's not great numbers, but you got to respect it.
Mm-hmm.
He's shooting it, and that would help.
I'm going Miami there. If the standings stay the same, I got Miami coming out of that one.
Yeah, I do too. Plus adding Iguodala, that's another dog they got.
Yeah, for sure.
You add him. And
just to come give you some valuable minutes.
Tough.
Yeah, give you valuable minutes in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you
So
there.
if we're going all chalk in the first round, we got Miami and Milwaukee in the second.
Oof. Yeah, I'm going Milwaukee. I think they're a deep team. I like Jimmy Butler, but I just don't think they're deep enough to.
Both teams are deep. The difference is obviously Giannis. Giannis is from a different planet.
Yeah, he really is. Because he's literally a freak.
It's gonna be fun to see if he leaves, man. Because for now, we don't know what KD's gonna be when he gets back. But the conference is his, like it was LeBron's for years.
Yep.
But it's only been 2? Last year it was Kawhi's, really.
Yeah.
Philly had a big culmination of talent, but like I said, I feel like it was all there, but they didn't let the guys be the guys that they were.
Yeah.
Toronto and we'll say the Celtics come out of that one. I mean, Toronto against the Celtics or the Pacers, I still like Toronto. I don't know who's going to, Siakam is so good. Kyle Lowry has really started to show himself since he's kind of been the lone guy in the...
Yeah, I agree. I like Toronto. I'm really surprised at where they are this year, losing Kawhi Leonard. I mean, they lost him, and it doesn't look like they've lost a step. I mean, they are 40-15 without Kawhi. That's ridiculous. And Danny Green.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That's crazy.
Siakam has stepped up big time, though. That's another one. I don't think he's on that All-Star list.
Yeah, he is.
I was going to say he should be. That dude has been killing it. He was fantastic last year, even, man. He doesn't... The playoffs don't go as smoothly as they do if he doesn't have some of those giant games he had throughout the postseason. Kawhi was steady Eddie, but this dude would drop 30 spot a game here and there when they really needed it. Yeah, he would just...
Yeah.
He'd be silent for a game, and then he'd just come out and boom, here's 30. And he'd miss 4 shots.
It was odd, man. His rise to where he is, it feels like it just came so sudden and out of nowhere.
Yeah, and as a stretch 4 to miss as infrequently as he does.
Yeah.
It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, it is. It's very remarkable.
So if we're sticking to chalk here, we're looking at the Bucks and the Raptors. I mean, like we said, the East is the Bucks. They just don't. There's nothing on the Raptors that's going to tell me that they're going to slow down Giannis over a 7-game series.
Yeah, I mean, last year they had Kawhi Leonard, which helped, but I don't see anything. I mean, I like what the Bucks have even went out and added more pieces to their team, and it shows because they're 46-8. That's ridiculous. I like the Bucks coming out of the East.
The only thing that might scare me a little bit, if you're a Milwaukee fan, is Budenholzer's done this in the regular season before with Atlanta.
Yep.
He's really showed out with a team. He has way more talent on this team than Atlanta. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But come the playoffs, man, this dude, his teams just do not perform. What got Atlanta to 60-plus wins it was completely absent in the playoffs.
Yeah. That was one of the most surprising 60-win teams ever. Like, I didn't even realize they had 60 wins until it's the playoffs. And you're like, whoa, they won 60 games?
Yeah, they're the 1 seed. When they got Miami, Chicago still doing their thing.
Yeah.
Moving over to the West, this one's a little bit trickier.
It is.
New Orleans is on fire with Zion. They could sneak into that 8 spot.
Mm-hmm.
Damian Lillard is on fire. If this dude gets any help at all, they could make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Probably got to be an MVP candidate if they can make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
The Grizzlies have insanely overachieved. But then after that, you look at the rest of the next 6 teams.
Yeah.
They're all tough outs.
Mm-hmm. I actually like Memphis. They got young talent. And they kind of have like they don't know that it's kind of like what you said with the Heat. They don't know they shouldn't be winning. They're just doing it. They're out playing.
Yep.
And good for them. I mean, I like them going forward for the next few years. It's kind of like what it's like they did what Phoenix did, only they were successful at it.
Right, just adding a bunch of guys, and it's all kind of just worked out.
Yeah, adding young players, and they added the right guys, and it's working out for them. I mean, they look fun going forward.
So we're looking at...
But they're not beating the Lakers.
No, yeah, you look at the first game is the Lakers, and then the Lakers are just way too much.
Yep.
LeBron and AD, they might not know any better except winning, but they're going to get taught a certain kind of lesson in that first series.
Yeah, they're facing grown men in that series.
For sure.
That is not going to work out too well for them.
Denver and the Mavericks, man, Denver's one of those teams where it's like I said, they don't have that dude.
I like Jokic, but
I think Jokic is a great player too. but I like Luka a lot more.
Yeah, I like the Zinger a lot more too. I like Porzingis.
I think he's really
I think
benefiting from being in Dallas too because it's not all about him. The cameras aren't always on. His team is winning. He's not. The cameras aren't on him, like I said, and he's winning. So that's got to just be a huge morale boost, and he's healthy. I honestly like the Mavericks in that game or in that series.
Thinking it too when I saw it. They've also the Mavericks have played multiple games this year without Luka and without Porzingis, and they're only 5 games back of Denver, so they're close.
Yeah,
I like Dallas. I like Dallas in that too.
Rick Carlisle doesn't get the love he deserves. He's been doing it for 20 plus years.
Yeah,
and the Mavericks have always kind of been relevant until the last 5 or so years started to fall off as they've gotten older, but they've always kind of put enough together. Kind of like the Spurs, but not nearly as successful.
Yeah.
Then you got the Clippers and the Thunder. Chris Paul's Chris Paul.
Yeah,
but again, it's just too much, man. The Clippers have so much talent on that roster right now.
Yeah, I think the Clippers are still learning how to play with each other, which is crazy because they're only 5 games back. But man, the Clippers have some legitimate dogs on that team.
Yeah,
and that's going to be tough for any of those lower teams to beat them. Chris Paul's done a wonderful job in OKC. A lot of people thought they were not even going to make the playoffs with that roster, and he's, they're 11 games over 500.
I think he thought they were one of them at the beginning of the season. Yeah. He wanted out.
Yeah.
And I don't really know. I've never really followed the guy crazy to know him personally, or even kind of. But it seems like he just got to work once he realized his situation was what it was.
It's kind of the exact opposite of Iguodala. If you think about it. Iguodala got traded to a team and he didn't want to play at all. And I mean, his old team, Memphis, is fighting for a playoff spot. Chris Paul got traded to a team that we thought wasn't going to make it, and he's got them 11 games over 500. That's pretty impressive.
Chris Paul's a different guy, though, man. He seems like he's that dude where he's just gonna the team's gonna look good. He's just the purest point guard there is, and he can put points on the board if he needs to. I thought Steven Adams, after the season before KD left, I thought Steven Adams was going to take that leap. And he hadn't, because Russ just took so much of everything onto him. The Jazz and the Rockets. This is another intriguing one. Because the Jazz are huge. And the Rockets are not.
No. Like, when they play, what are the Rockets going to do with Gobert? Like, they're obviously conceding that Gobert's going to get every rebound he wants, and he can score whatever points he wants in the paint. But I mean, what happens if Gobert gets 6 fouls on PJ Tucker?
Yeah, then what? Russ is going to guard him? Or Eric Gordon?
Yeah, it's Covington, I guess. I mean,
Covington's a little bigger. Yeah, sure. I mean,
I don't know.
That's tough.
I mean, it's tough if
those guys fill up the sheet so easily.
Yeah,
Harden and Westbrook, but this one's a real coin flip because the guards on Utah, as good as they might be, it won't be enough.
No.
But Gobert is just gonna dominate.
Yes, he's just he's gonna dominate.
You talk about the best pure centers. You talk about the best pure centers in the league right now. I mean, it's Embiid and him, right? It's Jokic is kind of like different. He's a little unorthodox.
Kind of a Euro center.
Yeah, but still, I mean.
Yeah, as far as blocking shots and getting rebounds and scoring in the post, yeah, you're right.
That one's a tough one. I think just because of the potential of 70 points from just Harden and Westbrook, maybe more, you got to give it to the Rockets. But it could definitely go either way.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I trust Harden and Westbrook more than I do Donovan Mitchell at this point. Um, so yeah, I'm going Houston as well.
So the Rockets and the Lakers, I mean, that's LA.
Yeah, it's LA. It's
Everything
good
that
luck, Rockets.
everything we said that they were going to do against the Jazz seconds ago. LeBron and AD are going to take care of that. Danny Green can cover one of those other guards.
Yeah.
And then Anthony Davis is going to be on PJ Tucker, and then it's going to be what it is.
Yeah.
So you got the Mavericks and the Clippers then. Again, too much. Just too much. Kawhi, Paul George, Lou Williams. They're just so deep.
Really. Yeah. I think that's where it comes down to is Luka is good, but what's he going to do when he's having Beverly and Paul George and Kawhi Leonard guarding him all game? That's going to be tough to deal with.
I think it's going to be an easy series, man. It's not as maybe they take a nap one game or the Mavericks hit a late shot or something, but otherwise it's probably a sweep for me.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Just LA versus LA right now. Like you said, the Clippers are still kind of learning to play with themselves.
Yeah.
I don't trust Paul George in the playoffs. Now that we have to kind of nickel and dime things because it's the best two teams in the league, I think. I think if they figure it out in these next few months, it's got to be the Clippers, though.
Yeah, I would agree. I think I just think
if there's a coach to kind of bring it together, it's got to be Doc. But that dude LeBron is LeBron. He's carried some bad teams to the playoffs, and he has talent around him. I think it's going to come down to LeBron being that dude. He's going to have to do what Kawhi did last year, or in a Laker uniform, Kobe, something like that.
Or what he did in Cleveland. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to come down to something like that through a long series. And then I'm not going to bet against LeBron, man. It's got to be the Lakers.
I think that is tough.
I think that's what Kawhi benefited from so much last year is that he didn't have to play LeBron.
Yeah.
Or Kevin Durant, really.
Yep, that's true. Man, yeah, I gotta go to the Lakers. I like the Lakers as a whole. I like how deep they are. I like how you can throw out Caldwell Pope and Danny Green and Rondo and Kuzma and AD and Dwight Howard. I just like how deep the Lakers are. I think they got the Clippers. And I just don't trust guys after Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Maybe Landry Shamet gives you some scoring, but I don't know where your other scoring is really coming from.
Yeah, not enough. And if you're as good as Paul George is, I don't know if he can slow down Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
That dude is as freaky as Giannis, but he's been in the league longer and he has way more game.
Yeah.
So that gets us to the Lakers and the Bucks. I don't know, man. I just feel like, again, the Lakers are just too good.
Yeah, I agree. They have LeBron. I think that's what it comes down to. I think it's...
You start checking off boxes and matchups, Giannis is only going to be able to deal with one. And then Anthony Davis is going to hit you, or LeBron's going to hit you, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I agree. I think... Like the same thing that has me going against the Clippers is, after Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, what do you have? Well, after Giannis, what do you have? With the Lakers, it's after LeBron, you have another top 10 player in the world.
And that's the thing, too. We've complimented these teams. This is the top of the league we're talking about. As far as they're too deep here, they're too deep there. It's when they're playing each other, the depth is different. There's more veteran players there. A lot of them have done it before. A lot of them, some of them haven't, and they're going to be playing out of their minds to get their first ring.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Milwaukee, I don't know if there's a guy on that team who has a ring, where you look at the Lakers and you got LeBron and Danny Green and Rondo all have rings with different teams.
Right, and then you got Dwight Howard's been there before.
Yep.
Played on some really good teams. Yeah, just too much Lakers, man. I think it's gonna be the Lakers, unless the Clippers really start going crazy. You could see some dumb fouls that could change the game one way or the other. It's like we said with the Yankees. Basketball's better when the Lakers are winning.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, with that, we're near the end. I had a little thing I wanted to do with you before we signed off.
All right.
It's called Yay or Nay.
Okay.
So just some stuff I saw around. You just say yay or nay, and then tell me why.
Okay.
This is the first little, fun thing we're gonna try and do, and we'll implement a few other things and see what sticks. So, yay or nay, Harrison Barnes will not cut any hair until the Kings are 500. Right now they're 21-33, and this dude is looking grizzly.
Oh man, I hadn't even seen him. I might have to Google that. I'm gonna say he's gotta cut his hair before, right? Like, you can't be making that much money like he's making and have a terrible haircut.
12 games That's under terrible. 500. It's not close. There's 12 games under 500 in the West.
Yeah.
That's a big nay for me, dog. You gotta cut that hair.
Dude, yeah, I have to.
A little more serious note. KG jersey retirement. Yay or nay for you?
Like for the Timberwolves?
No, it's for Boston.
Oh, for Boston. Man, I don't know. I would say nay. I'm not a Celtics fan, but he won one title there, right?
I'm with you. It's a nay for me too. He was really good when he was there, but
yeah.
I feel like you're just finding something to celebrate for no reason. It's not like when you look back at all-time great Celtics, his name pops right up.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he was only there a few seasons. That's a nay.
The Rocket League Championship Series on Twitch.
Okay. 50,000
viewers. Yay or nay?
I'm gonna say yay. I'm gonna say way over.
Way over. Good call, man. They were 60. They were at 80K when I was thumbing through it all earlier.
Yeah, that's not a surprise. Rocket League's huge, man.
I tried watching some, and it was really silly. I couldn't handle it. It was like a full-on sports broadcast for 3 cars online playing soccer.
Yeah, plus I was terrible at that game, so, whatever.
Yay or nay, Disney will fix the Fantastic Four.
Oh, I think yay. I think they will fix it, but I feel like we're getting to a point where superhero movies are not going to be as big a draw as they once were. We kind of got past the Avengers, but yeah, I think they'll fix it. I mean, they can't make it worse than it is, right?
That's fair. Yay or nay, Natalie Portman is Thor.
Yay. I'm yay anything, Natalie Portman.
Fair enough.
I mean, she's a really good actress. Like, besides everything, she's really good at her job.
I think Taika Waititi will figure out a way to make it work.
Oh yeah, he's good too.
I'm excited to see her in like a lighthearted kind of funny role with a movie of his. I feel like Chris Hemsworth, he fits right into that, and he never really got to play to his strengths until the last few movies. So I'm kind of curious to see how that'll work out with her. Yeah, he really thrived. The last couple of Thors were great. Mm-hmm. Yay or nay, Altuve should give the MVP to Aaron Judge after this scandal?
Nay. I don't like, the scandal was obviously terrible, but come on, man, he can't just give away he can't just give him the trophy. I mean, if I'm Aaron Judge, I don't want one given to me.
I'm always
I'm pissed, but yeah.
I'm always against things like this too, with the Reggie Bush thing and stuff like that, vacating of trophies and stuff. Go look at the numbers, whether or not they were cheating. It happened on the field. He still had to hit the ball and run,
Yeah.
There's just... I don't know. I feel bad about it too. I said the same thing as far as Liverpool and Manchester City too. I think it's a big nay for me.
Yeah.
Last one. Yay or nay? Mason Rudolph called Myles Garrett the N-word.